Hello, my name is Mitchell TF, and it's time for my next game review. This review, I will be reviewing a game in a series that I've really liked for a long time. That game? Blazblue. Blazblue is just freaking awesome. I mean, it shows how to do a good fighting game. Each of the characters is balanced. Each of the characters has its own unique mechanic, and the story is very good and very focused on moving forwards. You don't just have one little bit of small dialogue between lines. You've got a full-fledged novel-sized story in at least the first two. And the third one actually pretty much progresses to being its own novel. Though, sadly, it does lose a little something in the battle scenes. And for those of you who do like their old arcade games, they have arcade mode where it goes straight back to the standard little bit of story in each time. A similar thing to this was done in Mortal Kombat 9, also known as just Mortal Kombat, which reset continuity and pretty much reinvigorated the series and dang near made the company. They did the same thing with Injustice, which I don't think was as well received, but was still a pretty dang good game. The only problem I have with those ones, bad DLC. But I'm not reviewing that. I'm reviewing the latest in Blazblue, Xblaze. Which is, finally, Blazblue has done what they've always been doing. They've given up on the fighting entirely and just wrote a novel. Now, normally, I'd be really great and enjoy the story, tell you all about how much I loved it. I didn't. I hate this novel. I want to love it! I really want to love this novel! I mean, it has good archetypal characters, except they never move beyond the archetypes. Let's see, you've got the hero, who's basically Shiro from Fate Stay Night without the redeeming qualities. He's a nice guy who doesn't want anyone to get hurt, and that's about it. I mean, good God, I have more personality than him. I have more personality in these reviews than him. I mean, sure, his sole character development is, you know what? See that one guy. You have to kill that guy. Just because he's that bad. Oh, okay, I'll just kill that one guy. He kills that one guy, game over. That's his whole character arc. There, I've spoiled it. You don't have to play the game. The problem with the game is it's just badly plotted as a novel. The villains run the story too well, and it doesn't have a sense of growing tension. Even the areas where it's got the heroes acting practically, they really don't do that much. Essentially, they went around to the villain's reach. Finally, my evil plan is one step from completion! Then say, oh, okay, then now let's go after the villain. The enemies have a set of guards and all, but they're not used well. You never get a sense of personality for them. I mean, there's Dre, who's, well, he's the brute that you face right before the final battle and kill him off unceremoniously. Oh, wait, hold on. The heroes don't kill him off. The main hero just lets some other character who seems to exist for the sole purpose to kill him off. Meh. Let's see. There's Ash, who has a crush on the villain and would be sorta nice, except she spends every waking moment being a sadistic bitch. Supposedly her being in love with this guy is supposed to be redeeming, except not only that, but the guy has no personality. Now, I don't mean he has a dream personality. I mean, it's a plot point that there's nothing in him anymore. He's an empty shell. Apparently, he's been taken over by the true big bad who's only hinted at. You get to see this true big bad in Chrono Phantasma. And I can just go on, but at no point does the story really grab me. It has its good parts. Namely, whenever they're not focusing on the plot and the heroes are just derping around having fun, they're fun. But it's a kind of empty sort of fun. You've seen it in any other Japanese work, like any rom-com or anything. Fruits Basket has it. It's just, these characters have their quirks. You put their quirks together, they snark, they bicker. And while they're fun, Coca-Cola Classic, always Coca-Cola. Hopefully they'll show up on the advertisements now. While the characters have their fun, it's not deep. I mean, the best scene that I come to mind is, one, looking at all the girls in swimsuits, which was done better in other works. Actually, it was done better in Fate. Fate Hollow Atrexia. Good God! A lot of stuff in this game was done better in Fate Stay Night. In fact, the dynamic between the hero and his girlfriend, it's a lot like the Shiro-Saber dynamic, only without the deeper elements that make Fate Stay Night so awesome. I can go on and on about what's wrong, but I'll stick with one thing. They made a huge mistake in the system they used. When they went to a visual novel, they're entirely based on static sprites. Every single line is spread forth through dialogue. This normally works, except when they have to have something important happen. Any sense of a battle or other things, you can't have a good battle with entirely dialogue. It really amounts to this. I'll get you! No, I'll get you! That's pretty much what actually happens in a battle. Sometimes they actually show the sprites colliding at each other are single lines. The problem with this is it was done better in another work. Fate Stay Night, and also Yumeneko no Naku Koro ni and all the others. They actually had actual novel-style fight. They had the whole fight written down, and it worked. In this, since they do it entirely with dialogue, they remove the user from the fight and remove the tension from it. It becomes a bit more obvious they're just sort of having whatever they want happen in the fight. Instead of having the character fill in the awesomeness, you just kind of feel meh. Doesn't help that until the finale, all the fights are, they clash with each other, then decide, I'm sparing you for another day, and the villains leave. You eventually find out the reason, namely that the villains are trying to push the hero to an emotional breakdown, but that doesn't mean it's a compelling reason. In fact, it's actually more annoying because it's cliche. And they at least have a reason to push him to emotional breakdown, but it relies on the standard MacGuffin. And I'll also bring up how this connects to the Blazblue story. It doesn't. They use a lot of terms from it, and they kind of explain stuff that comes up, but the game never really feels like it fits into what will eventually happen. It has the boundary. It has Takegamahara. It has Kusanagi. But it feels like a dolled-up installment of another work where about things were kind of pushed in. They never really give you the sense of truly explaining, oh, that's where it came from. The explanation for the boundary, and I'm not kidding here, I'm being absolutely serious, is, oh, there's just some gate that's always been there. In fact, it was our portion to guard it, and we lost. We quit guarding it, and some guy took it. I'm so sorry. That's the actual explanation they give. It's no better than the one in Blazblue of we just created it through using magic science. But we had incredible science to finally pierce the boundary between dimensions. Don't think too hard on it. It's the same thing. This gate's been here forever. Don't think too hard on it. Takegamahara is, in Blazblue, it was a supercomputer created by Ancient Tech. In this, it's, oh yeah, we created that. We used plot device and plot device, mixed them together and made a supercomputer. A little bit of the explanation is interesting. No, it's really not interesting. It's just, oh yeah, we found a plot device called the Embryo. It lets us predict everything. And it also can change around the past, present, and future, and we use it to make everything happen. It's no better than... The Takagama just does that. It's what it can do. It can change time. They just add more words to it. Because they're relying on blatant plot devices. The bad guys aren't compelling because, again, they've lost all characteristics of the plot device. Oh, he connected with that thing beyond the boundary. We're never going to explain what that thing is, but it's totally worn away all his personality. You eventually discover in Chrono Phantasma what that thing is, but you have to reach so much to connect it, you could get away with not playing Xblaze. This doesn't feel like a game. It feels like all the stuff in it could have been put in the encyclopedia of Xblaze, of Chrono Phantasma, I'm sorry, if they actually bothered translating it. And when you take that apart, you're not left with a good game. I don't care about Toya. I don't care about S. Well, I actually care about S a little, but... No, I don't actually care about S. It's also not willing to really tug at your heartstrings. Except for the gratuitous star-crossed lovers, but now I must go and stay beyond guarding this ancient gate kind of stuff. It's a bit different than that, but I don't want to spoil it too much. It's just, but now I must go. We can never meet again. It's standard. You've seen this before in about a bazillion works. You've seen this before in Fate Stay Night. Doesn't happen in Yuma Neko or Higurashi or anything, but that's because they actually earned their... Well, okay, Yuma Neko they don't, but... You've had this happen in... It happens in Red vs. Blue, a Machinima series. And they do it more compellingly. Now, finally, there's the TOI system. See, in most visual novels, it's either completely static like Higurashi, or you make choices like Fate Stay Night. In this, they do something completely different. There's this system called a TOI. By reading certain news articles, you influence the story. It's bullshit. No, the whole thing's bullshit. Ultimately, it amounts to you have to read the newspaper articles that the person whose ending you're going for likes, and the true ending is blatantly just the ending for the canon protagonist. In this case, S, who is essentially... Honestly, she's not even Saber. She's Lambda 11 from Blazblue. She's a robot, literally and figuratively. She's a robot who gets taught to be human. This has been done more compellingly in about 15 other works, including Blade Runner. And AI. And those are just off the top of my head. So, why should we... And, Isaac Asimov's I, Robot, the movie, which was not actually a good movie, but it did a little bit. So, yeah, the TOI is just not fun. It doesn't give you the feeling that your choices actually mattered, because it never really feels like it pans out. Like, apparently there's a bad ending if you don't read anything, but I never got it because even on my first... Okay, I could have gotten it on purpose, but most people just read all the articles. The game pretty much tells you that's what you're supposed to do. In the second, it has faces of the girls you like appear on the articles. You go, oh yeah, I'm supposed to read that one. As long as you can tell, yeah, I want to go for one girl's ending. There's no feeling of the choices coming through. Yes, there are optional scenes that come up that are kind of nice, but they're not. They could have been easily just... He could have just made the story linear and had that happen, but no, they decided to go with the TOI. They tied in with Takagamahara, which is a nice idea, but it doesn't make the game fun. It really doesn't make the game fun. It divorces the player from the feeling that your choices matter and removes any sense of connectivity. There's just no heart to this game. I'm rating it a 1 out of 5. Don't bother playing it. I can think of no good reason why anyone would play it. It is playable, yes, but nothing more than that. Instead, Fate Stay Night, Yumeneko no Naku Koro ni. In fact, mangagamer.com. Go to that site, look at the games there. Even some of the bad games will at least be neat. Furthermore, there's Sakura Spirit on Steam that I can look at later, and other visual novels that are finally getting translated. Go look them up, and in fact, read Alistair. It's free, and better written than this one. You want a visual novel? Play those. Ignore Xblaze. It is a terrible game, and does not deserve the Blazblue name. Sometimes people just mess up a license. This is one of them. Thank you for listening, and come back soon.